Friends, good morning to all of you. I wish you all a very happy 74th Independence Day. Before I proceed, I will request that we all stand for the virtual flag hoisting. So you can share the screen, please. Thank you, all of you. In fact, this has been a difficult times and flag hoisting, we could not do it personally, though Abhishek and other people were able to go to SIRC today and do it. But nevertheless, we thought people who are at their homes who could not join, let us have the virtual flag hoisting. And I would only like to repeat the message which has been given in the announcement yesterday, that let us be mindful of everything what we can do for our nation to make it a great place of wealth, peace, and happiness. And let us take some time to value our nation and never forget the sacrifices from those who have given us our freedom. Probably we have forgotten a lot of things which has happened in these 74 years, but I think we should not forget it is their big sacrifice which was given, that today we are able to enjoy the real freedom where we are able to kind of do all things what we want. And rightfully we thought that let us call the veterans who has kind of had some gap which to, we thought we'll call them and kind of listen to them how things were, how things are. In fact, Joseph did say that he's old, but sir, I would like to tell you that old is gold, and your experiences, your what is the thoughts will always help us to kind of know how we should kind of take things forward. And it is all the efforts of your people like you that we are able to kind of enjoy the way the day we became chartered accountants. So that is the reason we thought we'll call up the veterans, the past chairman of SIRC of ICAI, starting from CA Ramaswamy sir, who was the chairman in the year 1982-83, CA Pottokaran sir, who was the chairman in the year 87-88, CA Nityananda sir in the year 1992-93, and CA Eswara Prasada Reddy sir, 2001. In fact, it is the thoughtful process to see that one person represent each state, all the 4 states we thought, and we put it that way. And I'm thankful to my teacher, a moderator of this session today, CA Pattabhiram, who gave his consent to moderate the sessions and has has kind of come with a lot of questions which we are going to ask and we are going to be enlightened. So before we go further, I will request Abhishek to kind of introduce all what he knows and then we take things forward.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. A very good morning to all the viewers today. Very good morning to all the eminent past chairmen who have joined, and of course, a moderator for the day, CA Pattabhiram sir as well. As Chairman rightly said, today is the 74th Independence Day, and usually we have a physical flag hoisting where the chairman holds the unique distinction of the person hoisting the flag. However, this year, due to Corona limitations, COVID limitations, chairman had to be in Madurai, but he's such a large-hearted person. He said, Abhishek, you go and take care of the physical flag hoisting. But I insisted that flag hoisting, we can do it SIRC. It will be very few people will be there. Normally, we are used to huge numbers of members and students participating. But I felt as chairman, he has to do the flag hoisting himself. We did a virtual flag hoisting today, and along with all the members, and that always gives us some satisfaction. As chairman rightly said, on the 74th Independence Day, or on any Independence Day for that matter, we always want to remember and honor our freedom fighters, all the people who have shaped our country and getting the independence of our country. Needless to say, this is yet another day for that. But we also thought it is right. Independence is a word which is important for India and also strongly associated with auditors and chartered accountants. So not only should we look back, but let us take this opportunity to look forward, see what are the opportunities, how we can shape up as chartered accountants. We are partners in nation building. So we are very integral to the economy and we go hand in hand. So however the economy is going, however government initiatives are going, so must we as chartered accountants evolve, adapt, and play a key role in implementing this. Many of you must have seen the address by Honorable Prime Minister 2 days back, where he said transparent taxation. So today we are sitting in an age of technology, e-assessment, e-appeals. There are so many new initiatives which have come. So gone are the traditional practices that we as chartered accountants used to practice. Today, there is a new world of challenges, a new world of opportunities as well. So we have with us 4 eminent past chairmen of our entire region, people who have really, as chairman rightly put again, shaped our profession and continue to shape our profession with their guidance and support. So with immense pleasure, I welcome CA Ramaswamy sir, CA Eswara Prasada sir, CA Jose Pottokaran, and of course CA Nityananda. So the immense pleasure of welcoming our moderator and a huge pillar of support for us, CA Pattabhiram sir. He's a person whenever we need any sort of help, we reach out to him, and he always is a person who never says no. I must say, the pleasure with Pattabhiram sir is he's a man in his lifetime who plays many parts, as Hamlet says. You know, he's a debater, a public speaker, keen follower of sports. He's a quizmaster, author, a freelance journalist, a teacher, a speaker. The list goes on and on. So, but he is also most importantly a chartered accountant. So thank you so much, Pattabhi sir, for accepting our invitation to moderate this very, very important session. Without further ado, I now hand over the proceedings to you so that we can hear from our eminent past chairman.
Yeah, Pattabhi sir, before you speak, I only would like to recognize the presence of various regional council members and central council members who also joined as attendees, including our past central council members, few of them, including CA Priya Bansani from Coimbatore. Over to you, Pattabhi sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Abhishek. Welcome to all the panelists, and good morning to all those of you who have connected this Saturday, the 74th Independence Day. We'll take a look at chartered accounting profession, the future of the economy, the Indian economy, and future prospects. I will open this discussion by first asking Mr. Nityananda, who's possibly had the longest tenure as our representative. Correct me, Nitya, if I am wrong. 9 years in the regional council, 9 years in the central council, and maybe 9 years thereafter, and still looking as young as he looked when I first met him. Nityananda, what is the one thing that the ICAI has all along been doing, which you think is wonderful and which they should continue to do?
Thank you, Pattabhi. It's a pleasure to be amongst all of you. And I would like to also, before answering, just say that it's almost like a long time. Last program I participated in SIRC was when Murli was the chairman in a company law seminar in Taj. And now when Abhishek Murli and is there and Dungarchand Jain is there, I'm participating, and with my dear friend Pattabhi being the anchor, I'm very happy and happy Independence Day to all of you. I feel that most important thing which they are doing and they should continue doing is the focus on technical standards, technical literature, and the CPE. I mean, CPE had its own set of comments which came when it was introduced, and there are still comments flowing in. That's how, I mean, we can always improve. Comments should always be welcome. Critics are always welcome. But we should, because no other professional body is doing this much of focus for its members on education and continuing education, hand-holding. So I feel that I will be brief because I think you will have a number of questions. I can go on in explaining few things, but I will restrict myself, Pattabhi. So my suggestion is focus on the technical standards, focus on CPE, and focus more on the ethics.
Great. Jose, I will ask you the next question. I'm sure given the experience that you have, nobody either in the panel or in the audience would mind if you are upfront and tell us a few things that the institute is doing, which they must stop doing.
Good morning, good morning. Sir, as our institute is growing for the last 73 years, I don't know why the members are not going to the real chartered accountant as practice that. In the olden, chartered accountant means a chartered accountant in practice, not in employment. Generally, they are taking membership only, but they are not very active in the participation in the chartered accountancy profession. I am very much concerned about why our members are not coming to the chartered accountancy practicing. And whether our institute has analyzed the reasons for not going for practice instead of going for employment. Moreover, most of them are going abroad or going for their better scope. And why we chartered accountants are not getting much opportunities either in the government sector or in the public sector. Moreover, I am very much concerned about the chartered accountancy course. In 1973, I mean,
sorry to disturb you.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know what is it that the institute should stop doing. The institute, as the professional accounting body, should stop doing, which they are currently doing, which maybe you think it is not their mandate to do.
In my opinion, there is nothing to stop, only to add more and more.
Okay, all right, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Just 1 minute, Nitya. Let Jose complete.
No, what I am thinking is only we have nothing to do, but we did not discontinue any of the functions now going on. We must add only. That's
Nityananda, you would like to say what is it that the institute should stop doing?
No, nothing to stop doing. No, we can.
As a team, I'm not talking of the council alone, because even when I was in the council, I always believed that all the wisdom doesn't lie within the council itself. I mean, a lot of wisdom is in our membership. So we should take everything together and march ahead. I feel that one thing is we are quite meek and weak in our responses to the regulators and the government. Even when the Honorable PM commented on the profession when the GST was launched, if I were to be the president, I would have immediately replied. I mean, we have all the respects for the Prime Minister. We have all the respects for the regulators, for the positions, but we should not be meek. And one short example I can give, as a bank director, we had a course which was inaugurated by the Deputy Governor of RBI. And while inaugurating, she made a slighting comment on the profession. In the inaugural letters, I stood up and said, I object to your comment. And she apologized profusely. We should have that conviction and courage. And we should not be meek.
Thank you, Nitya. I think that's a very, very well taken point. Maybe we'll come back to that a little later in the day. Eswara Prasad, welcome. You're in Hyderabad now?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Eswara, I want to know from you as to what is it that you want the institute to start? We heard about stop. We heard about continue. What is it that you would like the institute to start, something which they have not started?
Good morning, everybody. Wish you happy independence to all of you. I'm happy to be associated with the institute after a very long time, after I left as the chairman of SIRC in 2001. Okay, coming to your point, the thing that I would like our institute to stop is the present system of training. I am of the strong opinion our institute should be like IIM and IIT, which has a system of filtering the eligible candidates into the profession, give them complete, in-depth, in-house coaching. Thereafter, let them be trained in the respective fields like industry, practice, taxation, corporate laws, different specialized areas. Let them be in practical training after completing their course, after getting qualified. Thereafter, they are open to join the respective.
Ishwar, just one point.
Please.
I completely respect and understand your idea, but today, engineering colleges are actually, the AICT chairman has gone on record to say engineering colleges must send their graduates to internship for periods exceeding 6 months every year. The world is actually moving towards hands-on training. You are now saying that we should go to classrooms. I thought what the institute is currently doing was the thing that everybody is today wanting to move towards.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I did not say that we should stop practical training.
Okay.
Like IAS, IIT, IIM, let our people be specialized and focused while learning the subject. Say after 6 months, for a period of 6 months, they can be left for in-depth training in the respective fields.
All right.
Another point is that we have different coaching institutes, our institute, private institutes, training our people. There is no uniformity in the coaching. There is no uniformity in the quality of chartered accountants coming out of the profession. If our institute conducts coaching classes, we have about 100 branches throughout the country. I think they should be empowered with all the requirements to train them and then put them into respective fields.
Wonderful. Good morning, Mr. Ramaswamy. You're able to hear me?
Yes.
Can you give out your brief introductory remarks or your message for the Independence Day?
Dear friends, wish you all a very happy Independence Day. Like how independence is important to society, independence is important for a professional. Everything is changing in the world. The nature of our service are also changing. Whatever changes, the independence and the ethics of an auditor should never be compromised. My best wishes to our colleague. I thank SIRC by giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Ramaswamy. That was brief and well delivered. I'll ask this question to Jose. When I came out of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India many years ago, I'll give you a very quick background. I'll not take too much time. When I came out of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India many summers ago, and I was into journalism, okay, I met the managing director of one of India's top automobile companies. I'll not name. I was introduced to him only as a journalist because the newspaper for which I freelanced, the magazine for which I freelanced, told him just that. In the course of the interview, based on the questions that I was asking him, suddenly he said, are you a trained journalist or is it that you come from a different profession? I told him I'm a chartered accountant, and he was extremely pleased. He was extremely thrilled. The kind of respect. From that point in time, the interview took off a completely different plane. What I'm trying to hint at is that there was a time, correct me if I'm wrong, when the profession was highly respected. Do you think the profession commands the kind of respect that it commanded 2 decades ago?
Very good. Is it Ramaswamy?
Yes, Jose, go ahead.
Is it Ramaswamy to speak it? Ramaswamy? Or myself?
No, it is to you, Jose Pottokaran.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When I passed out in 1970, I was so proud of passing, recognizing as a chartered accountant. After years and years after, especially after 30 years, the chartered accountancy course or chartered accountants are not getting the same kind of respect or honor wherever you go in the society, it has diluted. And even the politicians say that you are preparing accounts only for business people and practicing big rich people only, but not involved in social matters, social and cultural activities. And long ago, the chartered accountants are, even though they were not actively practicing, they were only in practice. Still, they were respected and were getting a very high regards from the society, as a whole.
Nitya, do you think that the downward spiral has got to do with the profession specifically, or it has to do with society in general?
I feel it is society in general. The reason is if people are ethical, I'm not talking of the business people alone. Everyone in every sphere of life, if they are ethical, the society will be ethical. Every profession, every occasion will be more ethical. But I'm very sure it is just a churning process. Things, if you look across the globe, things are being tightened. Even today, I mean, we look at huge penalties, removal of firms of very, very large, big status. I won't like to name them. So the government regulators are more active than what they were. And with all the digital economy which we are getting into, and COVID has definitely, I think, been a catalyst or a booster dose for getting into digital mode. I feel things will, and also the media, I mean, we may not like the 24/7 news media because we may be fed with so many things which are unnecessary, you may feel. But the state being so active, whether it is the profession, whether it is the business, everyone have to be on the toes. Myself being a son of a journalist, and myself being a sort of invitee journalist, and you having started your career as a journalist, I feel it is playing its very, very important role in making society be alert, be more ethical, and point out the sort of wrongs.
Okay. I'll move to Eswara Reddy. He comes from the land, of course, Bangalore has always been called the Silicon Valley. Hyderabad has been second to Hyderabad. What is the one positive? What is the one positive that COVID-19 has brought about?
The most positive issue of the COVID pandemic is digital processing of the business. People cannot come to the offices, people cannot meet. So the only way is to carry out the operations through digital process. That is the most positive aspect of the COVID. That
Okay.
a lot of opportunities for the chartered accountancy profession, and as well as IT profession, information technology.
Just a supplementary to that, how does it throw up more opportunities for the CA profession?
It is like
That would have been
now people have to move to paperless audit, paperless payments. There, the chartered accountant has a very huge potential in the business process. Earlier, the system was the physical, the documents, the physical audit. Now it is more paperless audit and paperless payment.
okay.
Management would like to know, where do I stand? Where are my controls? Where is my money coming? Where it is going? Is it controlled properly? So that's a big area for the chartered accountancy profession.
All right. Jose, you come from a state which has arguably done remarkably well in COVID. What do you think are the positives for the country from this pandemic?
it is affected the whole people of the society. It is affected our.
No, what is the plus? What is the good thing that we can take away? Healthcare has been a disaster. Nobody denies that. But what are some of the good things that we can take from here?
To be very frank, I have not closed my office on any day. I was attending every day, even though the COVID was brought in Kerala, and
Okay.
percentage of affected the COVID also the less also in Kerala, and the death rate is also less.
Okay.
It is a work at home is also actively doing it. Most of my clients also cooperating, and we are doing this work at home also. My assistants, chartered accountants, partners, everybody is working. It's not much affected our
All right. Just one thing to people who are viewing. On the Q&A segment, you can put in your questions. Abhishek, is it okay if I name you?
Sure, sir, sure.
Abhishek will take a look at those questions that you put in, and we'll pick up some of those questions and ask the panels. Does that work, Chairman? All right, done. So meanwhile, I would go back to Nityananda. Do you see, no, there was a brief reference when you said that you don't want to name firms. We all today know that there are big firms, the big four, etc. Do you see like what the Prime Minister said on the date that nobody can today forget, that we should have homegrown big firms? Do you foresee that there would be some homegrown firm minus external affiliation, which will grow to as big as the big four or the big five? And if yes, how long will it take?
I feel it's a yes and also a no, my answer. Though it may look a little confusing. Yes,
yeah, confusing.
Because, the reason is lots of firms are gaining strength, growing nationally. But if we are talking internationally, it is a very long haul journey. The reason is we don't have the presence and we don't have the type of capital. Capital, when I talk both in terms of money and in terms of talent across the globe, to make an Indian firm really grow big internationally, which will match with the big four. But nationally, already many firms are very large. And if you talk of even the big four in India, I mean, who are the big four? Basically, it is our Bartley Boys, our Chokshi, our Fraser and Ross, who have now been sort of, if you can use the term, acquired by these big four or lapped on. And that's how by mergers and acquisitions they have grown and the brand name has changed. That's how. And who are the partners? They are all our own people who have qualified from Madurai or Bangalore or Chennai or Mumbai who are partners. So that way, the big four concept is more of a brand and the international brand. So I don't think the Indian firms can match up to them internationally, but definitely many firms are already almost somewhere near to the big four in India. But only problem they have is the referral work which they get. Referral in the sense a large company, if Amazon sets up their show in India, they will give it to the same set of auditors in India. That type of work, which is very large in terms of size and the fees, that will not be available for the Indian firms. Otherwise, in terms of, of course, in terms of competence, the size is only important for the technical and research wing. But otherwise, even a proprietor is an expert in a particular field, is being consulted by the big four. So competence is what is important, and definitely the Indian firms, many will grow to national stature, may not be international stature in my view.
All right. Ishwar Prasad, this one to you. Today, increasingly, we find CAs getting into employment. Some are getting into the large public accounting firms. There is nobody, I could be corrected if I'm wrong, there is nobody who is consciously getting into public sector undertakings, PSUs. Do you think that there is a need for chartered accountants to more openly go and join PSUs? And if they are not now joining, what can be the reasons?
For many of our friends not joining the public sector undertakings is the package.
Salary. Okay.
They cannot compete with the private sector for whatever reasons. So there is less number of people willing to join public sector undertakings. That is one reason. Salary is the one constraint. Another reason is the growth potentiality. Once you join a public sector undertaking as an employee, then if you want to go to private sector, many may not prefer for whatever obvious reasons, because he is used to public sector style of working environment. They may not be fitting into the private sector environment. These are the issues why people are not willing to go to the public sector.
All right. But what is your take? Does the public sector represent the idea of somebody wanting to work for the country, or private sector is also okay?
I don't think people joining in the public sector are joining public sector for working for the country or things like that. It is just they may not have the potential to enter into a highly packaged private sector, or they have their own comfort levels. And if I'm in the public sector, my job is secured.
Okay, I'll take this question first to Nityananda, and then I'll ask. No, I'll first take it to Jose and then come to you, Nitya. Jose, what is your view? Why are chartered accountants not joining PSUs? Or is it that PSUs are already dead?
In Kerala, chartered accountants are seeking employment everywhere. As they are not getting employment, good opportunities in private sector also, they are most of them are going to public sector also. But comparatively, the remuneration or the encouragement given in public sector is less compared to public sector, private sector.
Okay. Nitya, you have been a bank director. I guess you must have been on the board or advisory position in PSUs. Are PSUs that bad as what Ishwar Prasad Reddy says, that they will not fit into the culture of work of private sector? One. Two is, do you think CAs should actually go and work there?
I mean, CAs have been working there in various capacities. One is as employees is one thing, and in various key management positions, as board members, and also as auditors and advisors, which is very, very important. But first of all, one question is whether we require PSUs at all. Again, the answer is qualified one, in the sense, if you take PSU Bank, I was on the Central Bank of India board. They have branches right from Leh, where we have problems with China right now. So from Leh to Kanyakumari, branches are there of the public sector banks. But the private sector bank will not put up their show in a rural area, which is unbanked, and where it doesn't make a commercial sense to put up a branch there. So that way, public sector banks are required, or public sector units are required to serve the overall development of the economy. But at the same time, there are a number of areas in which public sector units are there. So government should get out of the business and should get into the business of governance more seriously. So those PSUs, areas wherein it's not necessary, they should get out. But in terms of chartered accountants joining service, huge number of our chartered accountants were in public sector earlier. Now the pay packets are so bad. They cannot attract talent.
Okay.
If you pay, if you give peanuts, you can get only monkeys. You can't get professionals. So you have to match up. I will give you one example. A public sector bank's MD gets hardly about 2 lakhs of rupees. But a private sector bank MD gets 50 lakhs, 30 lakhs, crore of rupees. So the same set of people, why such a discrimination? So this will not attract talent on one side, or if people take up their jobs, the honesty and other things will be a big question mark. So you are encouraging otherwise people to get into bad habits.
Okay. Abhishek, do you have any questions from the audience?
Yes, I'll just share my screen. Would that be okay?
That's fine. That's fine. I'll pick up. Oh, you can pick up. All right, you put out the screen. I'll pick up a question.
Sure.
No, Abhishek, I think you can pick up a question and ask.
Okay, fine. I will pick it up.
Ask any one of your choice.
Okay.
Don't direct a question. Don't direct a question at me. I can only ask. I can't answer.
Okay. I'll just ask the question. I think we'll let the panelists decide views are.
Yeah, that's also good.
Yep. So CA Raghavendra says whether the opportunities for members are still available. What are all the activities that the institute is doing? Is the CA education complete in the current situation?
All right. I think we'll freeze the question to what are the opportunities that are now available.
Yes.
Ishwar Prasad, you would like to take that?
Number one, practice. Number two, the profession. Number two, any other avenues, business.
Entrepreneurship. Okay. Jose?
Yes, sir. There is no much scope for further new members of our practice, and even in the practice, members are finding it very difficult to survive because the young members are finding it very difficult. And opportunities, especially in Kerala, there is no industrial growth, no development in the business area, so the scope is very less.
Nitya, you would like to tell them what are the opportunities that are available big way?
Yeah, if you permit, I would like to sort of link up with our economic growth. If you look at the economic growth,
you'll take how much time, Nitya?
No, whatever time you specify.
No, not like that. You please go to economic growth. I have no problem. Maybe 90 seconds should be fine.
Yeah, fine.
Go ahead.
Short point is Indian economy, whatever, we may be seeing some sort of recessionary trends, they're all temporary. And if you look at overall, all world bodies estimates or guesstimates, whatever it is. So we are likely to be in one of the top economies. I will not say China, India, and other BRIC countries. I will just say that India will be, yeah.
Sorry, I want to interrupt there. Permit me to interrupt. We are going to the top economy when? According to recent estimates, we are going to be one of the worst performing economies.
Yes, it is. And the growth rate going down is very drastic in our case. But India has the resilience. I'm confident. Okay. We will be resilient. We will grow when economy grows, profession grows.
Okay.
Jaan hai to jahan hai, economy hai to profession hai.
All right. Any one of you can take this question, because minus this question, I don't think we would really be talking about the profession. Today, there is a lot of talk about automation, a lot of talk about artificial intelligence in healthcare, artificial intelligence stepping into accounting and audit as well. Analytics is happening in a very, very big way. How much is going to be left for the role of the accountant? Are we going to see huge job losses in the world of accounting? I'm not talking about elsewhere. And also with automation happening in audit, will the bench strength in audit firms get drastically reduced? Nityananda, you can start. Yeah, 1 second. Ishwar Prasad, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think there will be any job loss for the chartered accountancy profession because of the pandemic. In fact, it will be more because of the change.
Not the pandemic, because of ongoing automation, AI coming in, working in a very big way. In many organizations, robos have already stepped in. Large BPOs, robos have come by. They're already happening. It's right in front of our eyes. It's not something that's going to happen in the next 5-10 years. It's happening right before us.
Artificial intelligence and automation will be more relevant now because of the pandemic situation, which is not likely to end in another 2-3 years. As per WHO, it may extend another 10 years or so. The situation to become normal. So,
all right. So, what is your conclusion? There will be no job losses?
There will be no effect on the chartered accountancy profession because of the artificial intelligence, because of automation. It will be more.
Okay.
Job opportunities will be more. There will be more demand for the chartered accountants because of the
audit team strength. Audit team strength will not come down.
Not come down.
All right. You have a view on that?
Pattabhiram sir, I would like to only add here.
Yeah.
Whenever the technology has come, it has never reduced the human intervention. It's only increased. So
no, DC, that is right, but that is history. Okay, I do completely appreciate your point that when all the automations of the past, computerization, whatever happened, people were upset or people did not see it the right way. But this time, I think it's very different because the pace of automation, the kind of work that it can do is actually remarkable.
Yeah, I'm coming to that only, sir.
For example, JP Morgan has already sent home 1,000 lawyers. Robos can read lease documents and other documents like that, like what you saw in Endir and Rajinikanth reading. What we saw in science fiction is actually happening. So I think it may not be, that's my considered view, it may not be right to think, you are right in saying work will get elevated. But my view is that will work be secular? Will everybody get work? Or there'll be some or a lot many people who lose jobs. Reddy says jobs are not going to be lost. You are saying jobs are unlikely to be lost and we will end up doing better work. Nitya, what do you think?
Only, Pattabhiram sir, before that, the only thing is, see, today what you're doing may not be relevant in the sense you will have to upskill yourself.
Absolutely.
Technology is going to take a lot of things. You'll have to audit technology and think of that era, not doing the work itself. That definitely will be lost.
Okay, fair enough.
Things in the past have got lost.
Fair enough. So you want to you want to audit the blockchain itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, Nityananda.
Yeah, I mean, a short point, supplement the points what is mentioned. It is not a question of employment, unemployment.
Okay.
What it happens in the medium and the long term for the profession of chartered accountancy. So if you look at the IFAC's Professional Accountants in Business Committee report, I think 2019, if I'm not wrong. So it has clearly brought out that it is one of the biggest challenges, or even I can use the word threats for the auditing profession because of and today, I mean, it is the biggest asset is data, not oil. Of course, oil prices, you have seen how it has gone. Data is the biggest asset in the world and not oil. So we have to be more competent in data science, especially we have the analytical skills and we have to hone that to see that in the data science, we are much more better in analysis and advising. Otherwise, lots of jobs, mundane jobs, which we are doing today will be lost.
All right. Abhishek, are there any other questions that you want to flag off?
Yes, I think one good thing we discussed also, so we can get the views of the eminent panelists. Kundal Reddy has asked, practice should shift from the old traditional practice areas of taxation audit, and should we look at moving into areas like valuation and other areas which are developing now, insolvency, accounting, setting up of accounting practices in firms, etc. So the question is moving away from the traditional areas. Maybe he means specifically tax filing, return filing, things like that. He is expecting a change. What are the views of the panelists?
Who would want to take that? You have to unmute.
Raise my hands last after all.
Okay, all right, done. Jose, you would like to answer that? Move away from traditional tax practice?
I am afraid of the new schemes, the patterns will reduce the number of practicing chartered accountants. Their work will be lessened because the mechanization of new devices will help to not only in accounting, in filing returns, in even preparation of the account balance sheet, accounting, everything. So generally, the new automation systems and the new modern practices, the chartered accountants, old number of chartered accountants opportunities will be less. New entrants will also find it very difficult to get any opportunity.
Yeah, Reddy, go ahead.
It all depends on individual competence of the professional.
I like that. I like that. That's absolutely right. That's a good point. Chairman, you want to say something to this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, definitely, sir, because as I told you, things are not going to be the same what you are doing. And a lot of internal audit, especially if you see, technology has taken over. 50% or 60% of the job which an internal auditor was doing today is done by technology. So you'll have
So
to
you're agreeing with what I said?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right, good.
You will have to kind of now specifically move away from the core areas because that is going to have a limited shelf life.
I just want to make an observation before I let Nitya answer. I don't know why people always keep saying traditional areas of audit and tax, minus audit, minus accounting, minus tax. There is going to be no valuation. There is going to be no insolvency. There is going to be no due diligence. There is going to be no nothing. Audit, tax, law, these are the core of any chartered accountant. If we think that we should step beyond this, I have no problem about people stepping beyond this, then we should realize that we will actually be competing with people who have specialized in corporate finance, with people who have specialized in law, etc. That's just my point of view, but I just want Nityananda to get on that.
Similar point. So you have mentioned it, of course, much more effectively as always. So basically
That's a compliment, is it, or is it a complaint?
Compliment, sir.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, always when Pattabhiram speaks, everyone hears with rapt attention.
Oh,
and you are such an effective communicator. Always.
Thank you.
So basically what I feel is profession is a need-based service. So what is relevant in Chennai, what is relevant in Delhi, what is relevant in Bangalore for a professional, what type of service a client requires may not be relevant in a tier 2 or tier 3 city or smaller towns. So it's a need-based. So if by chance I'm in a smaller place where it's more of trade which is going on, I had to be, whatever you say, traditional practice, if I have to use the same terminology. That is what is more important. But only thing is, in the traditional practice, what I'm going to do, and how I am going to operate is going to keep on changing. So it is not the way, I mean, my office boy is to run on 31st July to the income tax office and beg the filing clerk to accept the return at 5 o'clock. That is not happening. Even at 12 midnight, before 12 midnight, 11:59, a return can be filed. So the way, the methodologies will change, but the practice remains. It is need-based. A doctor, a small doctor is required for cough and cold. A specialist doctor is required for COVID.
No, there's no specialist doctor for COVID. Hardly anybody has understood.
That
what
is God.
Yeah.
God is
fair.
the only doctor.
Okay, now I'm going to ask the most sensitive question. Okay. I'm going to ask the most sensitive question. I don't know whether I told Chairman whether I'll ask this question or not. I must also tell you that most of these questions have been crowdsourced, to use the language that is fashionable today. All these questions, I never do any work. My job is only to cut, copy, and paste. So I put up on Facebook saying we are going to do this panel. There were some 30 questions that came, and we shortlisted 20. One of the questions is delicate, but with due fairness to the guy who took the trouble of putting the question, I should ask you. Whoever from the panel wants to answer can answer. If nobody is ready to answer, I will ask our Nityananda to answer this question. I will not make a reference to the details. I'll merely say that this gentleman has said that senior chartered accountants are colluding with departments like dash, I'm not going to name that, and rigging audits. That means rigging the obtaining of audits. Is there a way by which the ICAI should ensure transparency? If he is wrong, we will tell him he is wrong. What are the pin drop silence? Yeah, Ishwar Prasad.
It's a hypothetical question.
No, Ishwar, I don't think a guy will go on Facebook, identify himself and give details if it is hypothetical.
But unless the details are available, there is nothing we can comment.
All right, let me phrase it differently. Do you think audits are being got in, what should I say, a very transparent way?
One way of transparent audit is to get the audit allotted by an independent agency, like public sector bank audits. If the management is allowed to appoint their own auditors, there is always going to be an excess, which compromises the independence of the auditor.
All right. Jose, you would like to respond to that?
Sir, in the cooperative sector, you are focusing. Very good. The government must enact that auditors should be appointed by the cooperative departments, not by the cooperative societies. Just like bank, the appointment of auditors should be by the cooperative department, by the registrar or commissioner of cooperative society. That will solve much of the problems. Just like audit of the banks, just like Reserve Bank is CNAGs appointed government companies. So that should be the system to be introduced by cooperative sector.
All right. All right. By the way, Ishwar Prasad, Priya Pansali has put on the chat box saying that she is disagreeing with you. So after the panel is over, after the quiz is over, please pick up the phone and speak to her. I'm convinced that you are right. Okay. Now,
Nitya, sir, you are now going beyond the debate, sir.
This is the job of the moderator. Yeah. After all, she has put it on chat. Yeah, Nityananda, please go ahead.
Yeah, short point.
Yeah.
I disagree. It is wrong to blame the seniors alone. blame everyone, senior or junior, whoever is colluding and getting audits
No,
and influencing.
since you're Nitya, since you're very articulate and open, let me ask this question: is this happening? Forget about senior, junior.
I mean, let us accept it is happening, and
All
it is
right.
happening not only by seniors but by everyone. I mean, whoever has the link, he is doing it. Let us accept it. And paneling and other things, empanelment, allotment, it's very good, but it should go to the last mile and reach. It is not happening. For example, the bank branch audits. What is happening is our institute, we have developed a very good software, which when I was on the board, I implemented in our bank, and similarly others in these respective boards have implemented. Majority have implemented, banks have implemented, RBI also as well. But what happens is the branch panel comes and it is sent to a regional office, say a particular bank, I don't want to name. Then the regional office allots the branches amongst those people who the panel is sent. There again, our people are in great race to get the best of the branch audits. I don't want to get into details.
Okay.
We seniors even at 41, because the question was on seniors, I am telling, I'm in my 41st year of the profession. First, I got an appointment this year after the cooling period of 2-3 years of some large branches, industrial town branches. Within 1 hour, I got an email stating that there is some mistake. Tomorrow morning, you will get a mail. And I got some 2 tiny branches. I have never approached anyone. I asked my office to do whichever branch has been allotted. It clearly indicates a 41-year-old 5-6 partner firm with a large strength, which is not approaching anyone, gets something which is a very minuscule thing. And
Shall I
clearly indicate someone who would have got. I don't feel jealous about the person who has got a larger branch, but unless this paneling and other things goes to the last mile, keep if you're allotting from the head office on a computerized basis without any subjectivity.
No, but Nitya, being the kind of profile that you have, was it not incumbent on you to find out what happened? It is nice to say, I am straight, I am honest, I don't want to fight out. But in the larger interest of the profession, should you not find out why this happened?
No, I have, see, I don't keep quiet. I have put up the complaint.
Okay.
Even like a reduction of the number of statutory central auditors in banks. I have fought tooth and nail in my board. What I should say with with a lot of pain, let me say, sir, when you say that people are lobbying or colluding, seniors, you said, I said everyone. Let me tell you, we have what we call in Sanskrit as Antaranga Shatrus. Antaranga Shatrus, our own people, some of them, I am not talking of the majority. Our own certain people do this, wherein even from 5 and 6, the number of statutory auditors on the banks, it has reduced to 3. So that also, it is on record on the minutes of my bank. I have fought tooth and nail.
All right. I will now move away. I think everybody is getting edgy. There is already some message somebody has put out saying, I made a mistake getting into practice. I should have got into industry, etc. So I'll move on to something completely different. Chairman can also answer this question. Someone who is put out saying that, like what happens in medicine, should there be a specialization after chartered accountancy? Now, please don't tell me that, yes, we have a certificate course. That's obviously not what is in the person's mind. What is in the person's mind is that after doing X years of articleship, let's take the present thing of 3 years. Should there be an avenue where somebody says, I'll go specialize in audit, I'll specialize in tax, I'll specialize in technology, I'll specialize something else? Is that an idea for which the time has come? Yeah, Ishwar.
There should be thorough training by the institute itself.
Yeah, institute.
Yes.
Institute only.
Instead of allowing the private practice, students having the articleship with the practicing chartered accountants. Let them have complete education training in the institute. Say out of 3 years articleship, 2 years with the institute, and the remaining 1 year can be in specialized field like taxation, auditing, international taxation, whatever.
You are saying articleship should be with the institute and not with
articleship should be dispensed with. It should be full-time coaching with the institute across all the branches throughout the country.
Okay.
For 2 years or 2.5 years, last 1 year or 1.5 year could be in specialization like in medicine.
This Chairman, I'm back to playing my old role. This part alone cut and put in YouTube. Okay, this part alone cut and put in YouTube. Okay. Anyway. Jones, you want to have a view on that? Specialization?
Sir, shall I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Very good. See, when the institute started, this Gurukulam was practically going on because there is no institute, nothing out there. Later on, it was articled clerk. Now it is articled assistant. Whether 3 years articleship is necessary, first of all, whether the students are getting adequate training or experience, and whether all the chartered accountants of firms are competent or adequate facility to give training to the articled assistants. To my mind, the classroom class should be started by the institute, just like any other profession. The development of the growth and development of the profession depends only mainly this education. All other profession is giving classroom classes, diversification and specialization in the classroom itself. And there is no opportunity for the institute to give, and nothing has done so far. I mean, when I was 30 years back, the institute had management accountants course, corporate taxation, corporate management, and it was the specialization we had. Why it was stopped? I'm sorry, let me take 1 or 2 minutes also.
No problem, go ahead.
Thrissur is a small town, and because of the Guruvayur, the Thrissur is known. Otherwise, no Thrissur. I was the secretary of the Chamber of Commerce, and also I was committee member of Kerala Chartered Accountants Chamber of Commerce also. In Thrissur, we never had a medical college. We tried to start medical college in Thrissur. So the local doctors objected because we are having adequate number of doctors and not getting into opportunity. Okay, however, we tried and we got it, medical college. And later we tried for post-graduation in medical college also. So all the postgraduate doctors objected. And now Thrissur has having 3, 4 medical colleges, 6 or 8 engineering colleges in Thrissur. Thrissur is known as educational capital in Kerala. And why chartered accountants we had management accountancy in 4 subjects? Why it was discontinued? Why?
There were no
why we are not having any specialization? Why these 3 years articleship? It should have been at the almost 1 year. 80% or I should say 60% chartered accountants of firms training and not giving training also, and get them served as a clerk or training or something. Nothing. Not most of the firms are not giving any training to the students. The standard of the chartered accountancy profession is declined.
All right. So the summary is that we must have less years of articleship and extra specialization. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. Abhishek, you have got any question from the audience?
Yeah, there's one interesting question, more light-hearted, I think, than the pretty heavy, hard-hitting questions you've been asking.
Oh,
This is probably, I think, an issue that many chartered accountants are facing, which is they say that Abhijit, and two people have asked this, Raja and Abhijit, both of them have asked this. They have said over a period of time, while we are auditing and we are doing tax return filing, sometimes the work gets a little repetitive, gets a little boring. How do you learn to change it up, given that the panelists have so many years of experience? How do you keep it exciting through the years?
so he's assumed that the panelists are excited with their work. Yeah, whoever wants to take that question, that was not a simple question. Yeah, that's a hard-hitting question. I think most people do the same thing every day. Mahendra Singh Dhoni plays cricket every day. If you take an actor, I think the story goes that Amitabh Bachchan acted up a death scene 1,000 times. So I think it's a challenge that everybody faces. But anyway, panelists, anyone can take that. Yeah, Ishwar.
If he feels that it is routine and boring, he should move to some other field.
Sir, people have to take a hint from Pattabhiram, sir.
What does Pattabhiram do? Yeah?
Apart from documents, you do a lot of other things, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, Pattabhi, sir, I would like to revisit the previous question, which was there, this Gurukulam style of learning. Ishwar Reddy, sir, I little bit differ from you because I feel that we should have this Gurukulam style of learning, which gives us the best of the training. But the challenge is like what you said, if institute is going to have classroom study, it is going to be difficult to set up classrooms across places, and people in smaller cities may be deprived of an opportunity. Only thing is you will have to choose your guru or the firm in a better way. Probably everybody will not get a Dronacharya, but at least the best of the ones so that you are able to get a better training. And on the classroom study, maybe as an institute representative, I would like to tell that it's not a justification. There are courses conducted in the form of orientation and GMCS. Maybe taking a cue from what Eswara Prasada Reddy sir said, we can think of some 6 months of internship where, the technical part, because a person may not get some exposure in some offices. So he should not be deprived of those basic learnings. So maybe that can be thought of, maybe the orientation and GMCS and small kind of technical can be, thought of. But doing away with this Gurukulam style of learning, which I keep telling in all the programs that this is one unique style of learning which no other body has, no other profession has.
To compliment what Chairman is saying, Pattabhiram sir, and I have to make this point because you specifically said I don't want to hear about the certified courses, the certification courses that the institute are doing.
Yeah.
I must say, the valuation course, which is now in extremely high demand, we launched it in less than 1 hour. It has got full. The All India valuation course.
Everybody is tired of doing tax. Just look at their background.
One second, sir. Let me just complete, sir.
Complete.
So the valuation course here is getting full. But this valuation course has always been offered by the institute. It is not nothing new. Suddenly there's a regulatory requirement saying you need to hold that certificate. That is why people are accepting it. But it's not that the institute they've always had this course. It was never taken up. 30, 40 people will be there. Now 800, 900 people are registering on a single day. So it is not that the course has changed. The course is more or less the same. The regulatory requirement has changed. So I think the opportunities exist. And I think chartered accountants, in my view, are capable enough to take up a specialized field. You want to take up appeals, you work enough with a person who's specializing in that and you will learn it. So I don't think having necessarily, I think the course is well structured as it stands. To specialize a person and put him in a narrow field may limit his opportunities later on to move out of that field as well.
No, Abhishek, there's one small thing. Nobody finds fault. At least I would be the last guy to say institute did not do a good job in valuation course, etc. And it is a reality that statutory push always gets numbers there. Why does, for example, the question there is somebody who does not want to do tax, Why should he get to learn so much about tax? I have no interest in tax. Why should I go and read the whole of tax? I have no desire in law. Why should I read the whole of law is the question that people are asking. That there will be opportunities if you do a big basket of subjects is agreed. But even when you practice, barring very limited number of people, most of them are into one area or the other. That's the point one is making. So there will be opportunities in some area or other.
Pattabhiram, sir, it is like studying sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, for which I have not found a direct use even today.
Okay, after the panel is over, I'll tell you how it is useful, how OR is useful, how drawing those lines in assignment transportation is useful. Anyway, I will move on.
Incidentally, Pattabhi,
yeah.
You see, like even this computer training and EMCS, which was introduced almost 18 years back when I was the chairman of the Board of Studies for the first time, had a lot of resistance. But today, at least, everyone is feeling the utility of that.
Yes.
But specialization is required, but institute should not spread itself thin and get into areas where it has no sort of core strength to train the people in the specialization. They should get into some sort of collaboration with the institutions. Like, for example, I mentioned data science. So we should get into some IITs or the IASCs, which can design a course and run the course for us, whoever wants to specialize.
I agree.
Second thing is whichever courses we are running, whether it's valuation, which Abhishek mentioned, or earlier the computer CSA, all that, DSA. So if you take, unless you just give a certificate and forget, I feel it is not correct. You have done the DSA course. Everyone should take some CPE in DSA course on year basis, because things are so dynamic and changing. Similarly, in the valuation or any other specialization course, then alone we will have enough recognition in the society in those respective fields.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move.
Sir, Reddy sir wants to add something.
Okay, just let Reddy finish it. Yeah, Reddy.
About the type of training that we should have. When a course like medicine, which deals with the life of the people, can have 4 years regular graduation plus 1 year house surgency plus specialization in the subjects of their choice. Why not similar training in our profession?
Yeah,
Conducted by our own institute.
I agree. There are different views. There are strong views this side, there are strong views the other side. Yeah, Jos.
We had the same basic minimum qualification was started accountancy. Afterwards, management accountancy. We had 4 subjects. We had that system. Why to stop? That is what I quoted. That the PG doctors are objecting for coming new colleges for PG, and doctors are objecting to start new colleges to get. So also, I don't know why we can't have diversification and specialization.
All right, we will move on. That's a never-ending debate. I think we'll move on. We will talk a little bit about the economy. There is a view that the government of the day has become hyperactive in framing laws. Every other day you see a notification. Every other day you see some changes in legislation happening. It looks like every minute somebody has to be on the alert to find out what notification government is going to issue, what notification SEBI is going to issue, what notification this legislator is going to issue, that legislator is going to issue. I'm leaving that statement open-ended. I just broadly want to know whether all of this cannot happen in one shot. Maybe Nityananda, you can start off.
Yeah. You see, basically, if you take the economic theory itself, the taxation should always be stable, and it should be simple and understandable by everyone. If you read the economic theory itself,
yeah, the Adam Smith.
If you talk of the ease of doing business also, unless the taxation is stable, you cannot really get into make major investment decisions in any country. So that way, I feel stability is required, but I don't grudge amendments because situations are dynamic always. It is not like earlier, wherein it was more static. The economy is getting into newer and newer types of businesses and newer avenues of, if I can call tax planning or tax evasion, are happening. So naturally, it has to be dynamic. But at the same time, I have total opposition to the way the GST notifications keep coming every morning and evening. Maybe the time I start this answering, and by the time I end this answering, there is a new notification which comes. That is not the way taxation laws should be and tax administration should be. We should totally oppose, and at the apex level, we should oppose this tooth and nail.
Yes, Ishwar Prasad.
I agree with Mr. Nityananda. I see we spend a lot of time and effort in complying with the laws, unproductive time and effort. That can be spent in more productive ways of doing business.
Absolutely. Jose, you are a tax practitioner. You would like to say something?
The government policies are always changing, and the department officers are also not studying properly and drafting the notifications and the rules. That is a problem.
Okay. I want to ask the next tricky question, next sensitive question.
All your questions are quite tricky.
No, sensitive. This one is sensitive. This is like calling the elephant in the room. Why is it? And this, no, I'm again, no, why should I preface? I don't want to preface. Why is it that a part of one interim finance minister, and correct me if I am wrong, we have not had a chartered accountant be the finance minister of this country? We'll ask this question to the chairman.
I think it's just a matter of time, sir. Maybe we are just waiting for one to come actually.
Who is which is the name?
The same interim person to become final. If the expectations are still on.
Apart of the interim person, why is there nobody who has become finance minister? Nityananda, I see you picking up lots of pages. You have made a list?
No. I was just looking at something else. No, okay. You see, why FM? Why not PM? Why settle for
PM is a political position. I don't think everybody in an organization should become the CEO. We are saying why chartered accountants are not becoming CFOs.
No, when an economist become a prime minister, why not a chartered accountant become prime minister? I will not settle at a finance minister, what you are saying.
No,
but definitely, I mean, it will happen. But what we lack is more and more people will have to get into activity which will recognize them in the public field. And also within the public field, we should position ourselves well. And I'm very sure we will have a full-time FM sooner or later. Very, very soon we should have in a short time.
If I have understood you right, you're telling that the 3 lakh odd chartered accountants today are too concerned with the work that they do, that they are not visible in public.
Absolutely. And also they should, you see, for all this, whether, I mean, SIRC members who are there in the panel today or the Central Council members, people may think that it's a very cushy job. It's a position of service and lots of sacrifice is required on the personal front, lots of sacrifice on the professional front. So we had to sacrifice that time, and it is like an investment. It is not like an expenditure. If I know today Pattabhiram well, Bhupati well, or Manoharan well, or all of you well, Jose Pottokaran, Ishwar Prasada Reddy, it is investment. I have gained all these people's sort of friendship, and many experts. I have sat next to the experts, top experts, and discussed. That is something wonderful. So it's an investment. We have to invest if you have to grow in the public field.
Pattabhiram sir, one
Yeah.
more reason what could be is because chartered accountancy mainly concentrates more on accountancy. People get into that routines. For the economical aspects, in fact, there is no much kind of activity which you do. Probably if that gets added in the syllabus as well as in our work, then that will kind of help us to think beyond. Probably I will say a macro level thinking is what chartered accountancy lack actually.
Ishwar Prasad, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Many of our chartered accountants would like to become finance ministers, but the kind of money power, the muscle power that is required for entering into politics is something unimaginable. I don't think people with a selfless service motive can enter into that. All these,
All right, Ishwar Prasad, I'll give you one small suggestion. I'll give you one small suggestion. All these people of ours who want to become finance minister, why don't you assemble them and ask them to prepare the coming budget? I'm being actually serious. This is an idea that I've been talking about for many years now. That after the budget comes, we all stand up and say, hey, this is not right, that is not right, this is what could have been done. Or pre-budget, we say, hey, section 88, increase the number from so much to so much. Can we not sit and prepare the budget for the country? That's one thought. I leave it at that. A second thing is, this is to Abhishek. Abhishek, in that checklist that you have about things that you want to achieve in life, item number 4, please put out Finance Minister of India. I dashed here. Okay?
Thank you, sir. I will try.
No, you will not try here. If there is one person who can do, it should be you. DC, of course, you can also put that out. All right. Anybody who wants to take a shot at where our economy, of course, Nityananda earlier said something, but anyone who wants to take a shot of where our economy is now headed and what are some of the challenges you think it's going to face? Yes, go ahead, Ishwar.
With China more or less like being blacklisted in different issues, India has got great opportunity to become the world hub for manufacturing.
Okay.
Someone has to take the initiative at the top level and have a very transparent, hassle-free mechanism where industry can set up their manufacturing base in India.
All right. Nityananda, one point that you would like to suggest that can, I heard you earlier saying that India is positioned to grow very well, etc. One point which you would suggest as to how we could reach that stage.
So basically, the ease of doing business overall, whether it is the policy and the industries, taxation, whatnot, overall, we have to have stable policies which will encourage more and more investment. And if you have looked at the overall journey right from 92, I should credit it to right from Manmohan Singh's and Narasimha Rao's time till date, the governments might have changed the political the policies or their principles or the right or left or center. It may have changed. But the journey of liberalization and globalization continues, and it will continue very strongly. That's how, we can not only grow, but we have to first survive. So that's how all policies are there. And equally important are the US presidential elections, because maybe we are too much identified with the present dispensation. So whichever comes, the other parties, if by chance they get into power, of course, we have a very good lobby working for us. So, and also India has grown to a stature wherein no country, including US, can neglect us, whichever party comes to power there. So the strong partnerships which our Honorable Prime Minister now has forged, and with more stable policies and open policies, I feel India will go miles and miles and very fast too. That is my feeling, and I'm an optimist in that.
Okay. Now, an attendant question, maybe it got missed out as we were talking. We were talking about finance minister. a question that I've always asked myself, and I think it has just now popped on the chat as well, is why is it that chartered accountants are not getting increasingly into Indian Revenue Service? Why don't we see income tax officers or people in GST department or the indirect tax in government being manned by CS? Yeah, Ishwar, go ahead.
The same reason. If you want to be honest, you have to be happy with whatever salary that you get from IRS job. If you want to be unethical, there are plenty of opportunities. So people with very straightforward motives may not like to enter that kind of service where the package is.
What is the salary today that a commissioner draws?
Nityananda will be able to tell.
It's like around 1.5 lakhs, 2 lakhs is around 1.5 to 2 is what he gets. So
2 lakhs a month. 2 lakhs a month.
Yeah, no. You see, when you get into, I would rather little reframe the entire thing while answering. More than chartered accountants, because they already they are in short supply, I feel, because the way economy is growing, despite all this data analytics, digitization, digital economy, all that, we are going to have much more demand than what we have today for chartered accountants, even in private sector employment. So that way, I don't think we can expect more and more people will get into IRS, RIS, and other things. But what is more important, if I had to reframe, is that our lobbying is very weak. We have to have very good lobbying, both politically and with the bureaucracy.
Has that got to do with the fact that we are not there in IRS?
No, not really, because everyone cannot be in everything. So it is not like some e-commerce companies are also in IRS, but they lobby well, they position themselves well. Similarly, there is nothing wrong in lobbying, but for the right causes.
So you mean something like a NASCOM?
Pardon?
Something like a NASCOM?
Yeah, we have to lobby. Our voices, you see, should be very strongly heard. And also the networking, I feel, in the sense like chartered accountants are there in all the key big industries. Chartered accountants are heading many of the key committees, and many of the chartered accountants heading the chambers of commerce, to whom the government very, very carefully listens to their recommendations. So why can't we have a sort of data bank and also lobby through various sources apart from lobbying ourselves directly? We do not have today even a full-time economist in our institute, which was my suggestion long back. We should have economists, and we should give what should be the budget proposals rather than reacting to the budgets, as you rightly mentioned earlier. So that way we should grow in stage and go to something macro level rather than the micro level.
All right. Abhishek, you have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, I think most of them are covered, sir. Whatever I had shortlisted, we had discussed.
Okay. All right.
Maybe for some more, you can keep carrying on.
Yeah. DC, we have got how much time more?
Half an hour more, 30 minutes more.
30 minutes more. I would request the audience to push in as many questions as they can, connected to the economy, connected to our profession, connected to the future. This is a very general question.
Pattabhiram, sir,
Yeah. Go ahead.
one feedback has come that the discussions are good, but there are no conclusions. I don't think so. For the questions what you are asking, there can be any conclusions.
Oh, conclusions are for the audience to draw. Yeah? Okay, all right. We will try to do that in the next question and let that person tell us on the feedback whether he got the conclusion or not. This question is general. Today, the way that people respond and interact is very, very different from the way that people in my generation responded and interacted. I don't want to get into greater detail in explaining that out. What I'm trying to say is that today people are very, very forthcoming. They are very outright in what they want to say. All right. Is there anything in our education system that people need to learn if they have to go and work in countries that adopt different cultures or in a company where people with different culture work? Is what I said reasonably clear? Did I explain that out okay? All right, maybe we will start with Ishwar Prasad. You would like to respond to that?
Yes, when the CEOs of the top multinational companies are headed by Indians, there is no need for such kind of argument to say that we have lacking in some aspects. Opportunities are there, talent is there, but how best we can make use of this talent is the issue before the country.
No, I am asking about what should I say? Cultural indicators. Culture-wise, is there something that we have to catch up?
Culture-wise, what culture is the main issue in our country?
You are asking me a question?
Yeah, what culture is the main issue?
The ability to get along with people who have different points of view.
Yes.
Ability to get along with people who have different points of view, which today has become very, very, very contentious. Today, there are very few people who are willing to listen to a point of view. There are people who don't think that an alternative point of view can exist. And before long, you will see that happen in the corporate as well. Is the way that people respond today in our country the same that people respond elsewhere? Nityananda, you want to...
Please go ahead, Nityananda.
Nityananda?
Sir, see, it is again, as I said, need-based. Today, if by chance our own people from tier 2, tier 3 towns are partners of large firms of chartered accountancy, or our own people are heading large corporates, I mean, they will learn whatever is needed because they are quite intelligent enough. The Indians are intelligent and chartered accountants are more intelligent, equally intelligent and more trained. So they will learn whatever is required culturally. But more important from the management angle, I feel the cultivating a risk intelligent culture, that is very important for the profession and also in all organizations, wherein it not only generally now when we say risk assessment and risk management, it is only at the top level. It is not so. It should go to the last person in the company. Last person, like even a small clerk, should know that risk culture. And all suggestions from everyone on risk should be properly handled by the top, should not be looked at as a comment on the management's resolutions and decisions. That's what is more important. That is already there in our culture, Indian culture. It says that Baladapi Shukadapi, even a small boy gives a good suggestion. Even a Shuka means a parrot gives a suggestion, which is good. Please take it and follow. That is what is in the Indian culture.
Is that getting followed is what I'm trying to ask.
I mean, it has to be followed. You see, when it is need-based, survival, if you don't, I mean, if by chance Indira Nui becomes a head of a multinational like Pepsi, she knows, I mean, whatever is needed, change is needed. And what is the whistleblower policy in the company, we have to follow. if I had to be running a big company in America.
Okay.
So similar thing is happening in India.
Okay. That reminds me of another important issue. With so much of changes that are. Selva, can you mute people? With so much of changes taking place in technology, okay, how do you foresee the way audits will get performed? Why the question came is that I got reminded based on your reference to risk assessment. So what are the changes that you will see take place in audits? Ishwar Prasad?
The technology always poses challenges to the profession. One has to get updated on day-to-day basis, hour-to-hour basis to cope up with the challenges of technology.
All right.
There's no compromise on that.
Okay.
Unless we get ourselves updated with the technology, we'll become redundant.
All right. Jose, this is to you. One or two things that you would like to see changes that happen in taxation, either in the way tax is administered or in any form?
You mean to say tax collection?
Could be tax
tax
collection,
law.
could be tax administration.
Or tax administration?
Anything, could be a collection, could be administration.
That at present, the system of tax administration is reasonably good.
Okay.
Reasonably good. And tax law, what I am suggesting is our institute must have a best research department, and the institute should be able to give advices and guidance, even suggestions to the finance ministry from year to year. In every year, pre-budget suggestions are given to the finance ministry, but it is only some kind of small points taken from the Finance Act only, and no new ideas, no new issues, whether are there because lack of research in the institute. Our research department should be strengthened and should be able to give some kind of guidance and advices to the finance ministry also.
All right. I will come back to the questions with which I started. We'll go to the last lap of our panel discussion. I'll come back to the question with which I began. I talked about start, as in what should ICAI do now that it is not doing? What should it stop? That means not do what it is now doing. What is it that it should continue? Which is that something it is doing good. Something that it is doing good, it needs to continue on that. As we get into the closing part of this discussion, if there are anything else other than what you responded to, and because those questions were specifically, one part of it was specifically asked 1%. If other people have views on that, I would like you to respond to them now. We'll start with Ishwar Prasad.
One thing is starting with the new process. The institute, of course, is taking its own initiatives on various aspects. It should continue with that. But the most important aspect of it is, as Nityananda was telling about, making our presence felt in the government lobbying. The institute is there to represent our professional issues with the government. That role should be taken by the institute itself. Nobody else can do that. Nobody else can take up that role. Whatever the issues that are identified in the best interest of the profession and the students, the institute should start initiating that lobbying with the government. Then about stopping is, I'm again coming back to the first issue, that we should stop with this issue of articleship.
That you have told. This is only with reference to anything else that, no, because the question was not directed to everybody.
Okay. That's all. Starting is that lobbying with the government on whatever the issues that are identified for the best interest of the profession and the students.
Okay, DC, is that question too hot for you to handle?
No, no, sir, not at all, sir.
So you please answer us. What should it do? What should it not do? You want to answer that?
No, I think we are on the right path, sir. Maybe things will have to speeden up so that, you know, we are not left behind. Yeah.
Okay. Jose, you would like to state something on that?
I am not concentrating on that, but I am more concerned about education of by the institute, especially diversification and specialization and post qualifications.
Okay.
That's the only method that institute can develop.
All right. Abhishek, you want to chip in something on that? You are the face of the institute for the future.
I think we're definitely going in the right direction. I must say, many of the initiatives taken by the institute in the last 12 months have been very good. And we have hand in hand with the government. I think that's the critical thing for me. For example, as I already said in my opening address, e-assessment, etc., has been recently launched. So there's no point fighting over it, saying we should do physically only. So today, an initiative is taken. Let us try to build the infrastructure around it. And as chartered accountants, encourage our clients and whoever we are working with closely at a finance level, accounting level, at whatever level, to go hand in hand with this. And I'm sure that given a lot of the reforms that have been taken, many structural reforms, I'm sure in the long run, you will see the benefit for the country. And when the country grows, the economy grows. I've always seen chartered accountants also will grow side by side.
All right, that was very well put. Would you like to check whether there are any specific questions that are there?
Yeah.
One second, Nitya, I'll come to you.
There was one interesting question, which was regarding maybe this is probably we should have asked this question slightly earlier. It says opportunities for chartered accountants abroad, given that you mentioned Indra Nui and Sundar Pichai and all these names that come up. Okay, they are in the IT world, but even finance is a universal language. But despite that, you don't see too many chartered accountants, despite their marks, despite their experience, getting easy opportunities abroad, be it US, UK, maybe Middle East due to certain developments recently, like the VAT law that has come about, some opportunities have come up. But otherwise, you don't see chartered accountants moving globally too often. They either have to do an MBA or they have to do some additional qualification to go abroad. Is there any specific reason this is so?
Nitya, this question is tailor-made for you. Nityananda, this question is tailor-made for you.
Of course, tell one or two things, Pattabhi, with your permission.
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding earlier question, I feel there are a lot of election reforms which are required and the way elections are conducted in our institute, number one. And there is also, you see, the number of people getting into industry is increasing. And with this type of growth, what the economy expects, we require a lot of people in the public practice. So some sort of motivation is required from the institute for people to get into public practice, though it is very easy to get into a job and straight away start with a. Then third thing, though some people may not like, the reservation for industry in the council is required, both in the regional and central council, in my view. When such a large population of our members are in industry, and majority of us are in practice, not that we don't take care of their interests, we have the committee for members in industry and all that, but it is always better we have a inclusive committees, inclusive council, wherein we have the industry representatives representing in the council and the regional council. That is my considered view.
Just 1 second, Nityananda, before, just as you proceed, just one question. I do not know how many of people will buy this idea that there should be reservations in elections, but does this nomination not solve that issue?
You can adopt whichever is suited. No,
So
no
you want
issues.
industry
But
people,
please start somewhere.
you want
Please
industry
start
people to be in the council. That is the point.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Their voice should be heard. They
Fair
should
enough.
be given representation.
Fair enough. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is regarding the ethical code and membership. I want to just mention 2 minutes. I want to take
Yeah.
Pattabhi.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
see, we have the ethical code which applies equally to members in practice, members in industry. But if you look at the trend, disturbing trend, if I can say, that many of the members who enter the industry do not, with all the due respects to people who are renewing, I'm not talking of them, they don't renew the membership. And once they don't renew the membership, they are no longer members of the institute and they'll be outside the ethical code. Because nowadays, with the so many scandals happening, so much of importance for corporate governance coming in, the importance of CFOs and everyone involved in the corporates are equally important. So there should be some mechanism which the institute should find, wherein once a chartered accountant qualifies, he is like a permanent member of the institute and he is regulated. Once a chartered accountant, always a chartered accountant, and he is bound by the ethical code. Only like additional fees is paid for the additional services, additional fees for the certificate of practice. But otherwise, once a person qualifies and he passes, he is always a member. It may look very, very sort of sweeping. Please very seriously look into it.
Just one thing, just to make both myself and the audience clear. What you have just now said is that if the CFO has not renewed his membership, his name has been removed from the list of members. If he is found guilty of something, the CA Institute cannot move against him. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So regarding the other question which you asked regarding the opportunities abroad, if we go abroad, you can see chartered accountants across the globe, right from Australia to US or Canada. You can see number of chartered accountants, our own friends working, senior and junior. They are working in large numbers. As I said, we had to hone our skills to whatever are the needs there, the laws there. I mean, they quickly adopt. The passing of CPA is very, very easy for a chartered accountant who takes Indian chartered accountancy exam. Come again and May, November, May. So it is very easy for a chartered accountant from India to pass a CPA, whether in Australia or USA. They do it very well and they have prospered very well. I'm saying they're the profession leaders there, not laggards. So they have qualified and they have shown their mettle. They are very good in practice. They are very good in industry there. So basic thing why people are not looking is if you just take whoever has asked the question also, have we really looked at opportunities? Have we tried to go there or get opportunities for work? When enough work is there on your table, you are not really looking at, and you don't have a partner to look at further expansion. We are all a satisfied lot. So if we want opportunities, opportunities are there everywhere. So we have to, of course, look at opportunities and really seize those opportunities. That's what I would like to say, whether in industry or in practice.
One quick supplement on that. You made a very important remark that none of us in the last 120 minutes made, but then you just bypassed that and went. You spoke about electoral reforms. What are the reforms that you want?
No, it's difficult because to mention that itself should be a panel discussion, total panel discussion. But what I am trying to say is it should be truly professional, wherein money should not have any part at all. The youngest chartered accountant who has qualified today should be able to get into the election arena with least money, with all the digital and other reaches which are available. If he has the mettle, he should be on equal par with a person who has lots of money bags, lots of energies to go around the constituency. So that type of practices should stop. Let us, allow the candidates to put up whatever are their manifestos freely with whatever oversight required from the election committee. And otherwise, no personal canvassing, no parties, I don't want to say, etc., etc.
All right. Before we close out and before I summarize, quote unquote, Jose, you have some final observations to make?
Final observation regarding the functioning of the institute only.
All right. Okay. Eswara Prasad, you want to make any point that we might have missed out?
Abhishek's dream of seeing more chartered accountants as CEOs of the multinational companies, I think follow the model of IIT IIM coaching process curriculum.
Okay. All right. Chairman, you want to say something? Of course, the last word will definitely be with you, but still.
No, I think I would like to only sum up later once you are all done with, sir.
All right. Okay. Abhishek, any quick point you want to make?
I have made my point, sir. I think.
All right. Thank you. I'll very quickly summarize. It was very nice to be on this, to moderate this panel. I think we had a number of key points that came up. Some of the most significant things which needs to be named, irrespective of whether it makes us happy or sad, is that our institute needs to lobby, needs to command the respect of the government of the day in whatever form it can. There is a need to act with the speed. There is also the need to bring about while the education system that we have right now is fine, there is a need to redefine it to meet the requirements of the day. There are issues relating to our elections that we need to address. This business of private practice versus people working in employment requires addressing, because that's an issue that has cropped up multiple times in the past. In fact, one of the past chairmen of one of the big four organizations once told me, all the best and brightest guys are going into industry. We will run the risk one day of seeing that there are no best and brightest guys auditing those work done by those best guys. It's also very, very important to try and see what kind of opportunities that we can offer, in what form we can bring people in industry who obviously represent the face of the chartered accounting profession. How can we bring them into mainstream governance? Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for being here with us for the last 2 hours. And I will now hand it over to the chairman for the closing function.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pattabhiram sir. In fact, a lot of insights we could get from the panelists. Probably this, we should prepare a verbatim of most of the things what we have discussed, and probably we could, we'll definitely take it to the central council or the appropriate levels to see that they are kind of, discussed. A lot of different thoughts have come from Eswara Reddy sir's in-house training to be added, the good research department to be added, a very strong and electoral reforms, as Nityananda sir said, industry representation, geographical representation, and at par for everybody, so that there is no disparity between a young member and a senior member who's got a lot of from the institute. And very importantly, he touched upon the importance of membership, because by getting into this payment of fees, a lot of people don't pay the fees, and I'll put it that way, that many people purposely don't want to be in the clutches, so they say, let me not pay the fees and let me be free. Whereas it is because of the chartered accountancy, they have got into it and they are what they are today. So those are the nice thoughts which have come. And right from the economical side of to, where the government should decrease the number of amendments, or at least there should not be daily amendment. There should be a monthly or quarterly amendment so that we know what is happening and things are settled right from ease of doing business. And very, very importantly, the finance minister, where we are going to see a CA becoming one actually. And as a movie has punch dialogues, there were a lot of punch suggestions. I have made note of those, and we will definitely take it at the appropriate forum to see from our side. And as a representing regional council, we take it to the appropriate level and see that those kinds are getting implemented wherever we could. And only one thing I would like to announce is we have a quiz which is coming up. I request everybody to take. It's only open for 1 hour. We have put it simply in a simple Google form. And I must thank CA Soumya from Madurai, who drafted 25 questions and we selected 50. And CA Karthik from Pudukkottai, who helped us to give the technological support. The moment I said something can be done in Google form, right from the start to the end, probably even of going live, he is there to help us. So thank you so much, all of you panelists and the moderators, for your time, 2 hours of time on this Independence Day, where we are able to deliberate, because generally we discuss tax and the routine ones. Today we have moved beyond that. We have discussed on real productive things, and this will help us to kind of shape up our profession better. Abhishek, over to you for the final vote of thanks and the words.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. As Chairman rightly said, we request everybody to please participate in the quiz. The link has been shared. Request you to click and please participate. It's a little challenging, so it will be interesting to see how many of you get answers right. Now, come to vote of thanks. I'd like to thank all the panelists, all the past chairmen, eminent personalities, each of them experts in their own respective fields, and very, very busy. Despite that, they have spent so much time with us, 2 hours. So thank you, C. Nityananda, sir. Thank you, Eswara, Reddy, sir. Thank you, Pottokaran, sir. And thank you, Ramaswamy, sir. All of you have given us excellent inputs. And I think we will definitely take this forward, and to whatever best extent that we can implement it, we will try to implement it for the betterment of all of our members and society at large. Last but not least, I have to mention special thanks for Pattabhiram V. He is a person who's very thorough, and you can see he has collected all the inputs from various chartered accountants, various stakeholders. Then only he shared the questions, not simply noted it down. So he has got the views of what everyone is feeling. If you actually follow his Facebook page, you could have seen the questions he's been sharing twice. He has shared it and taken the inputs. And he's a wonderful moderator, especially given his past experience. He was able to give a really wonderful presentation and moderation for today. He brought new dimensions to the discussion, I must say. So thank you so much, Pattabhiram sir, for being such a strong pillar of support for us. And last but not least, I have to thank our dynamic chairman who took up the initiative. When we were discussing how we should go about the Independence Day program, we were thinking, let us bring an economist, let us bring some leading personality. And finally, chairman said, why not we have our own eminent past chairman, have them congregate as a panel, get a good moderator, and why not we do a discussion? Really a thought-breaking approach, It has not been done before, and it was clearly proved to be very fruitful, very interactive session as well. So thank you all for participating in large numbers. Thank you, chairman. Thank you, Pattabhi sir, and thank you all the past chairmen, be it CA Nityananda sir, CA Pottokaran sir, Eswara Prasada Reddy sir, and CA Ramaswamy sir. Thank you all. Stay home, stay safe. Happy Independence Day.
Great.
Thank you all of you. And there are CA Day performance by chartered accountants at 3 p.m. between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. both today and tomorrow. Kindly watch that also. Thank you all of you.
Thank you.